Hello, and welcome to the race baiting special. So, I guess we live in a day and an age where racism is very bad thing. You are called racist and you are basically a fuckhead. But then if you just genuinely race bait, it's the moral thing to do. It makes you look so good. You just have to race bait every angle you can get. And to illustrate my point, let's look at MTV DECODED. And by the way, this is the newest trend, this defend Black Lives Matter thing. But before it was this ask questions white people ask black people 35 questions, or then white people ask white people just racist bullshit all around. And I'll link you below because an orange bunny rabbit did a very good episode on these kind of questions and how fucking ridiculous they are. Because if they believe their intersectional bullshit through and through, they would say what questions that black people have for white people or people of color have for white people, because that's the kind of racist stereotypic shit they wanna discuss. But let's see what they have to say about Black Lives Matter.
If you've ever heard someone say, but what about black on black crime? We've got you covered.
That is, what about black on black crime? That is actually very fair question. We'll talk about it soon.
Scrolling through your Facebook feed, you'll probably see articles and arguments about Black Lives Matter. A lot of people are mad or just confused about this movement. So here are responses to 4 questions you might hear when talking about Black Lives Matter. Oh, so you care about black lives? Then why aren't you talking about black on black crime? First off,
yes, that is very good question, because it's all about the name, Black Lives Matter. Now, that would suggest that you are interested about black lives and how black lives are lost. Jesus Christ, this is an organization that thinks that all lives matter is somehow racist thing to say. So one big reason why black people are killed in America is black on black crime. There are 13% of African Americans in America, and they commit disproportional amount of crime, and particularly they kill a lot of each other. And we can discuss what can be done about this, but let's just hear how it's because of we had slavery 150 years ago. So what black people do to each other is very much a white matter. We have to change it. We have to teach cops not to kill.
This assumes that the black community isn't worried about gun violence, which isn't true. For example, Ceasefire in Chicago is an organization that actually intervenes in local street and gang fights.
Okay, so I thought we were talking about Black Lives Matter. Now you bring this another, I'm sure, very fine organization, but that has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. It's just another organization. And I was saying that Black Lives Matter doesn't care about black on black crime. I didn't say that there isn't some other organization that cares about it. But nice scapegoating. When you see Black Lives Matter bringing this up and maybe promoting in their riots or whatever this kind of ceasefire activity and knowledge about these things, and maybe like fix the problem that there are a lot of single mothers in black communities, and that if you don't have good parental figures to teach you the right values, then yeah, you might end up going into join some gang or whatever, and then maybe commit some crime, like maybe. But let's just see what they actually do chant when they are protesting, and what is their message to world. What did you say? Did you say you want dead cops? One more time. What do you want? We want dead cops now, yeah. What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want it? Now. That's literally what they are saying. And maybe if you chant that kind of racist or at least bigoted bullshit, then maybe you actually get cops killed, innocent cops killed in the streets that we have seen both in Baton Rouge and Dallas. A lot of cops being killed. And it's not all black people, it's not all Black Lives Matter, but it is some that promote this kind of attitude. It is you, debunked, decoded. You're getting debunked, because this is race baiting and it leads to actual deaths in the streets of United States, and you need to stop. Like if Black Lives Matter did anything right, we would have better race relations in United States, because they are now worse than they've ever been. Arguably worse than they've ever been. The distrust between black people and police officers is the lowest it can get. And you would think that if Black Lives Matter had any sense, they would try to bring that back up and maybe take some responsibility for the crime that they commit. But no. White people should take responsibility for that black people are poor and that black people commit crimes. Like, what the fuck? This is racism and race baiting.
There's even a documentary about them called The Interrupters. Black Lives Matter isn't just about the loss of life, which is always terrible. It's about the lack of consequences when black lives are taken at the hands of the...
So, it's not just the loss of life, but it's more on the police. And it's interesting how you will soon go against your own point, because you will soon just reflect that no, Black Lives Matter isn't interested in Black Lives Matter, it's interested in black being killed by police officers, unarmed blacks or blacks in general being shot by police officers. They are so racist, it's horrible. It's not like black people resist arrest more than 9 times more than white people do, because they have this distrust with the police, and this isn't helping.
Police. When a civilian has committed a violent crime, they're generally arrested, tried, and then convicted. Conversely, there's a lot of evidence that it's very rare to secure an indictment against a police officer for excessive force, and an indictment is just a trial. It's not even a conviction. Also, black on black crime isn't a thing. 84% of white murder victims were killed by another white person, but we don't call it white on white crime. That's because our communities are still very segregated.
Yes. You hear a lot more talk about black on black crime than white on white crime. They are both what they are, but because black on black crime is so much prominent, there's so much more of it happening that it's a problem worth discussing. Of course, whites kill more whites and blacks kill more blacks, because you usually live in your city and there is like a lot of, well, blacks usually live together with other blacks and whites usually live with the whites, but that's besides the point. You hear less about white on white crime because it is less prominent, it is less big of a deal.
So if you have the misfortune of being the victim of a crime, the perpetrator will most likely look like you. So why do people always bring up black on black crime? Because it's a diversion. They're trying to prove black citizens don't have the right to be outraged about police violence because their communities have a crime problem. But the truth is, black people are not more violent or more likely to commit crimes than anyone else. The reality is, because of a history of institutional racism, black communities have higher poverty rates, suffer from poorly funded schools, and are more likely to be targeted by police. So
Yes, so let me get this right. Because 150 years ago we had slavery, then there is no free will, and because of that black people commit crimes today. Just like that is it. Because of racism that was long time ago, horrible thing, then it's not black people's hands are tied. Hands are just so tied, cannot do anything else except commit a crime because slavery or something like that. Makes so much sense when you think about it for a second.
Are you saying blue lives don't matter? Of course the lives of cops matter. That's why if you kill a police...
Yes, so blue lives matter. Yeah, and like the thing is that you can...
First of all, what I've been hearing here, this is the reason why
I have this one example, but they do this a lot. They promote the idea of violence against cops, and lo and behold, cops get killed. And it's not just Black Lives Matter. Like, it's not about even if the killer is precisely Black Lives Matter member, but that is using this pretense that first the media builds by race baiting and bullshitting about it. Every news story you see is about black people being killed by police, and it doesn't fucking matter are they unarmed or resisting or arrest or attacking the police officer or whatever, then it is always brought up and racism is blamed. Cops are so racist. But if we look at here, this is 2015, police shot dead, people shot dead by the police. And we take male, unarmed, black, so there is cases, there are 36 cases, and unarmed, male, white, there are 31 cases, so not big of a difference, even though, then again, remember, blacks are only 13% of the population, and whites are, I don't know what, 60 something, a lot more. So let's look at these cases. These are the cases you see on the news all the time. So unarmed 22-year-old officers mistook cell phone for a child dress, was holding for a gun. Okay, so this is suspect. This could be whatever, even racism or whatever. Like this is very odd. But whatever, I don't know the situation, I can't go into too much. Okay, this has medication for family has medication for schizophrenia, or was on medication, so okay, I don't know, hard to say. But how about here? Noel resisted deputies' attempt to handcuff him, so he wrestled the police, so he fight the police who has a gun, and you get shot. Like, oh my god, this is very, very, very tragic. And here, okay, fled leading a police scene. Okay, there was some car action, but like mental health problem. resisting arrest. There are so many cases of resisting arrest or attempting to grab officer's gun or beat the officer who approached him. Like, yes, if you fight the police or if you resist the arrest, then you might get shot. This might be alarming thing to happen, but dear God, don't resist the arrest. And by the way, blacks resist arrest like 9% more of the time than whites, because they have this culture that is very, very us against them mentality. Police are the bad guys and they are the good guys doing the gangsta crimes.
Police officer, you are rightly arrested and prosecuted. But saying Blue Lives Matter effectively lumps a profession into the same category as a marginalized group of people. Becoming a police officer is an
most of the cases when police shot people, there's a reason for it. Like 99% there is a reason for them being shot, like resisting arrest, attacking the police officer, whatever, like. And there are cases where it's like unclear, like they try to run away or then have some kind of a hairdresser and it's thought about gun or whatever, or cell phone thought about gun. But most of the cases it's police trying to catch criminals and the criminals resisting the arrest, and then bad things happen, but it could have been avoided if they just hadn't resisted the arrest.
It's a choice. It's not something you're born into. And most importantly, advocating for citizens is not anti-cop. The job of police officers is to protect and serve all communities. If that's not happening, we need to reassess and find a solution. So you're saying only Black Lives Matter? That's racist. We've talked about this before, but this movement is not saying Black Lives Matter more than anyone else's. It's saying Black lives should matter, but the way that our justice system, our media, and our police have been operating suggests that they do not. It's totally okay for a movement to focus on issues specific to—
No, I guarantee you, black people, white people, if they resist the arrest, they could get shot. It can happen. It can happen. Just, you can test it out yourself. If you're in America, just go and try to grab officer's gun and see what happens. Just go for it. You will prove a point.
One marginalized group. Gay bars aren't unfair to straight people. A breast cancer walk isn't unfair to other forms of cancer. And Save the Rainforest isn't saying you hate all other trees. To quote one—
Rainforest is not a type of a tree. Are you fucking idiot?
law professor's letter, the subtext of Black Lives Matter is, because of the brutalizing and killing of black people at the hands of the police and the indifference of society in general and the criminal justice system in particular, it is important that we say Black Lives Matter. But what about the white victims of police violence? There's way more of them. Yes, there are more white people killed by police officers than black people. But when you look proportionately,
there are way more white people killed by the police than black people, but you never hear them in the media. It's not like they will take this case and talk about it, because I guess racism works so that only white people can be racist against blacks, women or other minorities or whatever, but like they can't be against white people. So let's just, yes, we know they are, but let's just talk about something else. Let's talk about blacks being killed, and let's not talk about blacks being killed by blacks, but let's just race bait some interesting angle that we can blame white people and perhaps slavery and bad stuff that happened 150 years ago, so that it perfectly, black people hands are tied, they can't do anything except crime. There is no free will, there is no free will. You just have to commit the crime.
Within the populations, black Americans are 2.5 times as likely as white Americans to be shot and killed by police officers. Black men make up just 6% of the nation's population, but of all the unarmed people shot and killed by police in 2000.
Yeah, and it's even actually worse than that, because it's not just black men that commit for like big amount of the crime black people do, or majority of the crime, it's actually young black men, like from, I don't know, ages 20 to 30, and that's like 2-3% maybe, and basically they amount to 51% of all murders in United States. So good Christ, I have to say only that, good Christ.
2015, 40% of them were black men. Those numbers are tragic. If an unarmed citizen...
Yeah, and maybe because they also commit proportionally more crime than white people. If you think about how many percentage of population commit crimes, and of course 9 times more resisting the arrest. So racism or race baiting, you decide.
Citizen is killed by the police, or an armed citizen is killed under suspicious circumstances, people should be upset no matter what the victim's race. This isn't a competition. Sadly, police violence...
This isn't a competition, yet you only talk about cops killing black people. Because I don't know if there is some small amount of racism there, or some amount of racism there, but it's not, it's objectively not as big of a deal as you make it to be. And because you make it to be this big, then people get funny ideas and start killing the cops, and that is very unethical. And you feel good because you protect the minority, you virtue signal that I am good person, I am fighting against the system, except actually you are just getting innocent cops killed because of your fucking ideology bullshit.
Violence is a problem in many communities, but bringing up other victims to discredit the Black Lives Matter movement is pretty disingenuous. If you really...
This video is pretty disingenuous.
believe that police violence is a problem, you should support Black Lives Matter as well as other organizations fighting for victims and their families.
Yes, please support organizations that help victims and their families, but stay the fuck out of Black Lives Matter, because that is just some toxic bullshit, very racist, very unethical, not directly maybe affecting deaths of police officers. That can be debated. You can always have that, yes, if you have a religion of peace, then you can basically say that whoever kills, then he wasn't a real Black Lives Matter supporter. He wasn't a real Black Lives Matter supporter. But they make this atmosphere acceptable, and people take it way too far because they get very paranoid. Cops get very paranoid. Black people get very paranoid because they are pitted against each other. How the media is now working, and it's despicable, it's wrong on every level, it's racist as fuck towards white people, and racist as fuck towards black people, because black people don't have any kind of saying what happens. Like, because of slavery 150 years ago, I now must commit black crimes. Race baiting as fuck, please stop it, it's wrong, thank you.
I know these conversations are hard, but they're
Yes,
necessary
these are.
if we want to move forward. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Decoded.
I think I have to go into this more videos, because this is very major angle and major problem I have with the cultural Marxist angle, but like there are so much I want to discuss. I would like to discuss Islam, I would like to discuss terrorism in Europe and etc. And I would like to discuss also this Hillary Clinton email leak, because I think that might be a very big question in the upcoming weeks, because there's gonna be some kind of a political happening where Hillary Clinton gets decided as the person who's going to represent the Democratic Party, but it's very unclear now because there are a lot of emails coming out that say she might have done something pretty illegal, but I'll have to study it more to tell you about my happenings. But thank you and have a pleasant night. And please subscribe, spread this message, this is important, and like the video. Peace out.